Welcome everybody to Shelby Exotics 2021 Ram Rebel TRX right here. New addition to the fleet. She's a unit. I've had this thing for a hot minute now, and it's been quite a fantastic vehicle, both in design, performance, ride, handling, and I've had a 2014 Raptor before, so I'm a pretty good person to be able to judge the differences between the Raptor and the Ram Rebel TRX. So we'll start out just with this beautiful blue paint. Took delivery of it from a company dealership over near the Detroit area. Jim Real friendly, Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, half a dozen other brands and stuff. But this vehicle has been absolutely fantastic. Powered by the HELLCAT 702 horsepower engine. This thing is relentless when it comes to power. 0 to 60, I don't know if there's anything that could beat this unit. So we'll take a look inside, we'll take a look under the hood, and I'll give you my feedback of what I think about the Ram Rebel TRX. So far, I would say go ahead and order one. There's a couple quality issues with the thing that we can talk about. There's a couple mismatched things relative to the plastics and the painted work not quite matching up perfectly. But all in all, I would say it's the best riding vehicle I've ever owned. I've had a couple of Range Rovers and a couple of Buicks and some other things relative to the ride quality, and this thing takes the cake. In Michigan, we have absolutely terrible roads here, and this makes life easy, especially in a couple of the different modes that it has. The only complaint that I have about this truck, other than a couple of quality defects like the paint here, you'll notice is really super mottled, or orange peeled as you would call it. But nothing a little wet sanding won't fix. There's a couple things like this scratch right here. That is a scratch that came in the plastic work. Ram will take care of all of that, I have no doubt. I did elect for the ram bar and a couple of different options, and we'll go through all those in detail. But overall, an absolutely fantastic vehicle. This one here cost about $85,000 on the sticker price. And by the time I was done with taxes and fees and all that happy jazz, it was about $94,000. The only reason I'm telling you that is because you better know what you're getting into with a vehicle like this. Cost-wise, just want to be completely transparent. The paint, this blue color is just wonderful. I elected not to go with the beadlock wheels because I'm going to end up putting different wheels on here. But quite honestly, the Ram wheels have grown on me a little bit. And I kind of like them. So we'll look in here. I did get the roll bar, or the rock guard slash running boards. They come with the tough liner on them. Very similar to the lining in the back here for the bed. The bed's also really well lit up. Don't mind the dishwasher back there. It's good for hauling stuff too. I have had an opportunity to haul a trailer with it. It's real soft in the rear end, but once you put it in tow mode, it's got like an adaptive suspension, which comes with these Bilstein shocks, which is pretty cool. It's like a Magna ride. And again, the paint on this is just like the tough coat on the running board, the bed and the running board. So kind of ties those two together. Everything cleaned up real nice. I just had it detailed today so we could do this video. The tires are good. I mean, they're Goodyear Wranglers, so they do lack a little bit in wear quality. I have 5,000 miles on this already. I've only had it a few weeks, but I packed the miles on. So I average right around 13 miles to the gallon, and a lot of this has been highway use. So the tires aren't super loud, but you can see they're already showing some wear even at 5,000 miles. And I've already had my oil changed. I did that already at 500 miles, and then it's due here shortly to get another one. It does have cool side marker lights on it, both in the front and the rear. Right there. And then instead of the Raptor being across here, Dodge elected to put them up top. Really tough looking truck. But one thing I noticed right away when I started driving it is that it felt a little washy. I actually thought I was getting seasick, and I'm not a person to get car sick at all. But the suspension is so soft, you feel a lot of the weightiness. So a couple of the options that I elected for was the moonroof, which I think is required. Just want to make sure you shut that guy on a sunny day, because it gets hotter than blasted just in here if you don't close the screen, which is just a simple button here. You just give her a little touch there, and she closes right up. Which is pretty cool. And you can open her back up again. Not a big yank. I think it only opens halfway, and then you got to hit it again. Yep. You hit it one more time, she opens back up all the way. Cool feature about this moonroof is that it vents, and it also, which is really cool, watch this, just like the old Pontiacs, when it opens, it goes up and over, which is really cool. And that looks kind of cool from the outside too. So it gives it a little more depth up top as well. So it adds to the height a little bit, which, by the way, fitting this guy in any car wash with the Ram bar on it, you got to kind of search around to see who can fit it. I've got 2 car washes that it actually fits in, and that's all. So we can bring her back in with any button, either the vent or the other, and it closes back up. If you hit vent, it'll just vent that back part here. So we can tilt her up, tilt her down, or open it. I also got the sliding rear window in the back. Excuse the paintings. Bringing those home. I also got the carbon fiber package, which I would totally recommend doing that. And the red seat accents, which are really cool. So you get the carbon, let me stick on one thing at a time here. the carbon fiber package, you get quite a bit of carbon in it. You get it here, get it up on the dash there, you get it up here, you get it on the doors, and that's the same with the doors in the rear. The red accents are everywhere. I would definitely recommend doing that. The stitching here is really cool. The only complaint I've got is there's inconsistencies. You see this smooth, and then it's not so smooth, and then it gets kind of rough up in here. So you got a couple of different types of leather coming together, and I'm gonna talk to Ram about that, because to me, this should match for what we pay for these trucks. You shouldn't have like this stuff going on where this is really wide and wanky and this is smooth. That's like a really good example of what I'm seeing. From this distance, not bad, but you know, this is more like what you see at my distance. So you do see that pretty plainly that it ain't the same. This is kind of cool where they have the Alcantara in the center, the TRX. There's also Alcantara on the wheel right there, but being that I put so many miles on this thing, it started actually wearing my hand apart to where it was hurting. I know that sounds like a kind of wussy thing, but if you got sweaty hands like I do on that Alcantara, it just chews you up. I also elected for the big screen. The TRX comes with a bunch of different modes. You can shortcut everything after you get your custom mode set up, and you hit this button twice and it'll go right into that. But you got Sport, which stiffens everything up and changes the shift ratios. Really makes it a lot faster. Tow mode, which gets your suspension super stiff for hauling stuff. Snow, which starts you in second gear and has the regular street suspension. Auto just keeps you in street mode. Mud and sand, that puts you in Baja for rock. I like it with rock steering, which is really sensitive and pretty soft to turn. Suspension in Baja, which is nice and smooth. And on Michigan roads, it's nice to have that, you know, to soak up the bumps. Stability control Sport. What many of you guys don't know, the stability control is kind of not really needed on this truck because it's all-wheel drive. A lot of people don't know that. That's why you don't see these trucks doing burnouts, is because they're four-wheel drive all the time. And it's not like four-wheel drive where you're turning and it, you know, lumps over. It does if you put it in 4-high and axle lock it, but we just keep that puppy off. But it's got lockers on it, and as soon as you do that, it just really stiffens things up on the four-wheel drive. So you got a ton of different modes. Mud and sand. Rock climbing mode, you got to be in 4-low, I believe, which you got to shift to neutral and all that jazz. You guys can do that if you play with it. Rock climbing mode, same thing, and then Baja changes all this stuff to the fun mode for the transmission and all that jazz. So it's kind of cool. And this is what I found best. I like the transmission in Sport because it really, the throttle response is pretty cool. Also, I don't know if you saw that or not, but when you change mode, it's got all these little cool dealies for Baja and all that jazz. Sport mode, you're like all sporty. Tow mode, I don't really have a picture for that guy. Snow, and then auto, just for street. I like it in custom mode because I'm a custom kind of guy. You just hit that button twice and it goes right into your custom performance deal. So in the performance thing, this takes 2 hours and 45 minutes to load. So we'll talk about some other features while that's doing its deal. And anybody with a HELLCAT knows that these performance pages take forever. That's why it's nice just to be able to hit the TRX button twice and it goes into your custom mode. So you can look at all the red accents, which is really cool, and they're also in the back seat. Don't mind all the garbage, but I use this truck as my daily. Cool, but I use this truck for what it is, and it's a pickup truck. But of all the trucks I have and vehicles I have, I'm going to hang on to this one and one Mustang. Maybe two, maybe three. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But at least two of them, the convertible and the 350R. And that kind of hits all the factors. I got a HELLCAT motor in this, so when I want to get on it, 0 to 60, this thing with all-wheel drive and the way it's geared in launch mode is faster than any HELLCAT I've ever ridden in. Even mine that's, you know, 900 plus horsepower. This thing just shoots out of the hole and really fools you as to how big this truck is. So something this big should not move as fast as this one does. It's really a lot of fun. So there's all these aux modes, towing, all that jazz. You got a stick here, not a knob, for you Raptor owners. Yeah, I laughed at you. You can shift down into this, just into drive like any other car. Otherwise in manual, and then you can use this to you know, move through your gears, plus or minus. And it also has paddle shifters, which are actually metal, believe it or not. And they're big, so on either side, no matter where you're at, plus they turn with the wheel, which I don't know. There's two schools of thought on that, whether they should move with the wheel or not, because you never know once you get this thing hard over, right? Now you're backwards. Which one do you use to up or down shift, right? So I kind of like them stationary. That way when you turn the wheel, you can hit either side. You don't have to worry if you're up or down shifting. And just turning the wheel, still one shifts up and the other shifts down. So it's kind of cool. Got a good gauge there, goes 120 miles an hour. I think this thing's limited at like 115. I haven't had it up to 115. I've had it probably up to 100, 110. And that's really all you need to go in a truck this size. I mean, she really gets it. The launch mode I have not used in this truck. I used it in a demo and it was a hoot. I'm just not a big believer in launch mode because it just feels like it's so hard on everything. Got all the power windows and locks. It does have power pedals too, so you can move those closer to you. The tilt steering on this is manual, so you just drop the lever and you can pull it towards you and up and down and so forth. So it's not electronic there. It is electronic, fully adjustable seats with lumbar. It's also heated and cooled seats. You just hit this guy. And it's got heated and cooled seats in the front. The rear also has heated seats. Oh, and cooled seats. Hang on. So in the rear here, it does have cooled seats and heated seats, which is really slick. Anybody that's had cooled seats and played with them at all, that's sweet when it's hot out. This guy's cool. It's 400 watts, so I can actually run like an extension cord and something that really draws some power. Previous trucks really didn't have anything that you could run other than a battery charger with them, which is strange. Why do you need a battery charger if you're running off your car? But you never know. Like things like compressors are good to be able to run, and the other Ram I had wouldn't do that. This one does. It'll run a pump on it. So that's kind of cool. Oh, hey there. That's a big old bug, isn't it? Great, horsefly. All right, so we're gonna evacuate the vehicle. Just kidding, I'm not afraid of them. We're just done in there. So you've got all this different storage here and here. You've got the stow and go storage under the seat, which a lot of people forget about. They give you these giant floor mats, but you actually have storage under here too. So you got a couple storage compartments on either side that you can put some stuff in. It's good for hiding things from the cops, I suppose. I opted for the blue. I don't remember the name of it right offhand, but I'll get it for you. But she's just massive. So let's jump in. We're going to take it for a ride. So we climb up in here. This is the lever I was telling you about, just right here. So you can move this guy in and out, towards you, away from you, and it's got a ton of adjustability. So I usually keep her about halfway. Turn our lights back on auto because we're just that kind of cool. And we'll get going here. So one of the things we'll show you, now that the performance pages are all dialed up, is that it does have an engine dyno. Hopefully he's not going to kill us, is he? I mean, he just looks a little bit pissed off about life, doesn't he? Come here, feller. Get out of here. There you go. He knew which way to go, didn't he? So this will show you your active horsepower, and it's got a couple different views of this. So you can actually go over one, and it's got the more traditional HELLCAT view. That'll show you real-time horsepower and torque. And I've seen it hit 700. Truck's got an excellent sound. Buckle our seatbelt. We like to be legal here at Shelby Exotics. So we'll take this down, turn her into climate off mode. In case you didn't know, it'll tell you in giant friggin' letters. But you'll be able to hear that HELLCAT whine. Now in the back seat, strangely enough, when I first got this truck, I took the guys from work for a ride in it. And in the back seat, you cannot hear that supercharger whine at all. Isn't that beautiful? So you get the nice sound of the HELLCAT supercharger. Get a real nice, soft, compliant ride. And if you want to stiffen everything up, you just hit your TRX button there. Put her
New text message from Lacey.
Hi, Lacey. How you doing, honey? Just doing a little YouTube video there, sweet pea. So we'll be doing... See, and Sport really changes that gearing and makes her come alive, which is really a lot of fun. You got a ton of room in here. It feels like you just are on top of the world compared to other cars out there. And as you can see, it looks like I'm taking up like the entire road. Because I am. Those side marker lights are on there because the DOT says you have to have them. Because the truck is wider than what the regulation width is for a normal passenger vehicle. So that's why they have the 3 lights and the side marker lights. It's not just to look cool, it's actually because they have to. And we'll do a little 0 to 60 run here. And these roads are terrible, by the way. You'll see all the nice potholes on them. And you're gonna hear some stuff fly around in here because it's just that much. Oops. 60. Just like that. And that's not in launch mode or anything else. So if you go back and time it, I eased into the throttle. I didn't just whack on it because this is my daily driver, guys. You gotta be a little bit nice to these things. For our average miles per gallon, that's the continuous job there. We can cycle through our stuff here. It's got all your vehicle info for gauges and whatnot. We'll get into fuel economy here. And yeah, we're averaging about 12. Now that's been reset. And again, that includes Ryan hammer time, which with a vehicle like this, it's a little hard not to hammer time on it. So this is my Ram Rebel TRX, guys. And if I had to tell you, now that I've got 5,691 miles on her, is it worth it? Is it worth 85 grand? Yeah, it is. I hate to say it, but Ram does an excellent job with their interiors. They do a terrible job with their Cummins engines of restricting them, so those aren't very fun. And the other, what, 5.7 and 6.4 motors, they just don't push it along like this HELLCAT motor does. So you get the reliability and strength of the HELLCAT drivetrain, plus the fun factor. You get a hugely compliant ride, if that's such a thing. You get all this jazz of gimmicks and stuff that you can play with, and I know a lot of guys like the gimmicks and stuff and junk and crap. But, yeah, I would say it's worth it. You get the HELLCAT motor, you get a really versatile vehicle, you can take it to the dunes, you can go off-roading, you can get bugs that are just flying all over here. See that? Look at these guys. Just knock it off. They like the blue color, I think, huh? What are you doing out here, guys? Just calm down. They're just everywhere on this thing. Look at them over there. I don't know if it's a color or what. Get off me. Just had a little hatch. Anyway, back to the TRX. And people that are bringing stuff up from the beach. Hey there, guys. Hopefully that's not a body. But yeah, Ram Rebel TRX. You get versatility, you get good speed, you get horsepowers. It's a lot of fun, folks. And you get a great view of the lake right there, don't you? It's a good time. We enjoy it. So make sure you like, subscribe, and comment to the old Shelby Exotics. It does have the auto tailgate opener, which is a lot of fun. Right there, I forgot to show you. And maybe I'll just show you that real quick. I can't even believe it. But like, subscribe, and comment. Tell your friends anything else you want to see on the Ram Rebel TRX, other than a side-by-side duel against a 1,000 horsepower F350 1996 7.3 turbo diesel. Holy cow! Which will be upcoming on a future video here shortly. As soon as she's done and back from the motor shop, we're going to line them up and give her a go. Because I did drive the old F350, and I'll tell you one thing for free. It'll be a race. This thing out of the hole will get it. But the old 7.3, I bet she's got something for this guy. Stay tuned for a future video. Ram Rebel TRX, truck time. So thanks for tuning in today on Shelby Exotics. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Ram Rebel TRX, it's loads of fun. Loads of screaming, grab a cat by a tail, run it over in the driveway type fun. And every Ram Rebel TRX comes free with a key fob. Most expensive key fob you'll ever buy. So you can lock it. Pretty smucking flick, eh? So we're gonna do tune number 3. A little out of the hole. There we go. Feel like I picked the crappiest places on earth to live, you know?